Previously on Paranormasight, the Mermaid's Curse.
What's up, user? You figure something out?
Ah! Ah! Oh my God! Ah! Oh, my giblets rained all over my friends. And now back to Mermaid Ward! NicoB! Back with some more Paranormasight, the Mermaid's Curse. When we last left off, Yuza and Azami continued their investigation, though this is in the scenario where he didn't go down the big hole, trying to figure out around town if anyone knows anything about his mom, mermaids, and other things. Talking to people like Wakamura, his weird son, this cute girl with a scar on her face who just is trying to sell us merch, Yuza's gran, and these two foreigners, Avi and Cersei, who are also here looking into things about mermaids. Intriguing. Probably a bit more going on there though. But as we're returning home to collect our information, suddenly we come across Sato, who's been fatally wounded. Or has she? Oh shit. She healed that crap up. Could she be a motherfucking mermaid? I mean, 800-year-old immortal who ate mermaid skin or something, but maybe is also a mermaid. Mermaid swamp! But we don't have got time to that, because also my grandma's dead, and that lady's dead, and this other lady. Oh fuck, they're dropping like flies. Oh shit, it's fine. We'll totally be safe out here in the wilderness, in this abandoned building. Surely, right friends? Okay, maybe not. Looks like you're dead. That sucks. All right, go to another timeline. Bye. Wow, holy shit. That escalated very quickly. And I guess it makes sense, right? That our story would essentially come to an end in the scenario that is not the starting event, right? The starting conflict, which was me being sucked into that hole. It basically felt like it was showing what would normally happen, right? If we just continued to essentially go about our day while uncovering, well, what based on just the normal things around us about the mermaids and my mom and everything. And essentially just leads to everybody fucking dying to this weird samurai curse spirit. But it was really exciting and interesting. And someone did a good job of pointing out just how this was set up versus the previous game was Midnight Morpher, who last episode said, okay, that ending sequence, so far is the best scene in the game, is incredibly effective in displaying the horror of the massacre and punching the player in the gut. And unlike Shogo's murder spree at the beginning of the first game, this sickened me way more. I think it's because of the following. One, when Shogo murdered people, we only got a glimpse of who they were and couldn't possibly get attached to them, except maybe Haraway, but even that was just, poor lady lost her kid. Here we had ample time getting to know the people and the island in general, getting the understanding that this is a tight-knit community of people who know each other like the back of their hands, so seeing them all get cut down so callously feels so much worse. 2, great use of camera angles, music, mechanics, and so much more. I loved how the game's files kept glitching in during Sato's murder, making it feel like realization is dawning on the player themselves, and the way camera angles were established helped enhance the tension. Like how the camera had to pan over everyone's face before finally showing Sato. And the music when the massacre continued into the night, Jesus, had my heart racing. 3, unlike the first game where we knew Shogo was the murderer, or where we didn't get to see the aftermath of what Nejima did to those 300 plus students during his ending, we got to see the villagers being cut down and we don't know who the fuck it is. When I got to this scene at first, I was mentally scrambling around and going, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck? And I love that a visual novel made me feel like this. A fucking visual novel. A medium best known for having static character portraits on static scenes. Managed to stir up suspense and horror better than most games and movies in my opinion. I can't glaze this sequence enough. TLDR, this game terrifies me and I'll get on my knees to thank the game for it. And that's the thing that really gets me about this game and why I genuinely think it is like a truly evolved like visual novel, is how much it really goes out of its way to tell its scenes in a very like cinematic way. Constantly, like each character has like different angled portraits, like not just like a different expressions, but like, oh, I'm doing it from a side angle, I'm doing it from behind, I'm doing it from the front, doing this and that, and the camera's panning and zooming, and it does so much to like make scenes more interesting. And even though the game has no voice acting, it allows the scene to still feel like almost like you're watching a movie. Now, I will say, I don't know if I would say I prefer this one over the previous one. I think they both serve different purposes. For like the first game, I think one of the ideas behind it was essentially introducing the players of that game, right? In a way that just showed a very shallow interpretation of everybody, right? Before you actually get to control them and see who they really are, like Richter and Haraway and all the other weirdos. You basically kill them off really early and then eventually you learn, oh, what they're doing there, what is their purpose, Tetsuo and everyone else. Well, this one instead actually has you really go out of your way to learn who everybody is, at least to an extent. You really don't know who Avi and Cersei yet. That's like, those are the oddballs. And honestly, in the scenario where everyone gets cut down, it definitely seems like Yumiko and Soto don't seem to be a part of it, at least from what we can tell. It's just like the people of the island. This is essentially the fate that they're going to suffer if nothing is done. But yeah, really cool sequence. And it's nice to see that this is essentially the thing we're trying to avoid from happening, right? Or at least one of them. I think this is probably on top of also the Raging Waves curse as well, right? Something's gotta be done. But Midnight Morpher, thank you so much for your incredibly enlightening and detailed comment about what made this just so special. And is that reason you are comment of the day. By the way, a few other things. Apparently Avi, according to the website for this game, is not actually British like Cersei. He is apparently a full-blooded American, which is really funny to me because some of the stuff he was saying sounded very British. Like the way, like the terms and stuff that he used. And maybe it was because he was just with Cersei, so it was just like meant to be sort of a jest. But also the way he looks also very much European and not American, even for the period that we're in. He really doesn't look that American in my opinion. But I really like the voice they gave him, so I'm gonna stick with it anyway. And again, nothing in the game actually really clarifies that. Maybe the game will. I'm actually, you know what it probably will do is when I go down here and do his stuff, right? Which is actually from his stuff, his perspective. That's what I'll probably get, that he's actually an American. But like, bro, this guy does not look like an American. Not even an 80s American. But I rather like the voice I gave him, so I'm gonna kind of stick with that. But you guys also point out, yeah, you get big Richter vibes from him, right? He's definitely the eccentric one of the game. He's like, people said he's like Richter if he was mixed with a bit of Joseph Joestar. And fuck, you're so right. Oh my God. That is a good call. And Richter was like personally like one of my favorite characters in the last game. I think him and Mio were like two of the best characters. And now it's essentially like, oh, well, what if we had those same similar characters and they were now a duo? Well, shit. Butter my biscuits. Why don't you? But all right. Everybody's dead. So we could go now and go to Yuza's side where he gets sucked down the hole and see how things have changed. Or we can get one of the other players in the game here, which is funny. It actually spawned 2 events and learn about where they come from. And I'm personally in this boat. I'm already immediately invested in these 2 and I kind of want to know more about them. So let's just start from their beginning. Discovering the mermaids of Issei Bay. Arnave Barnum, a cheerful fantasy author, sets off on a trip to visit the mermaid legends of Issei Bay with his relative Cersei Lunarlight as his guide. Wait, they're actually related? Did they even say that before? I don't think it stipulated that. No, I don't think so. All right. Let's do it. After much hustle and bustle, we finally managed to make our way to Issei Bay.
Nice!
Take it all in now. We're standing on the coast of NicoB in Mie Prefecture's Kawage town.
Which means that this is the Sea of Issei, the connection to the eternal world. How amazing.
Indeed it is. Come, Cersei. Henceforth begins our grand adventure in the search of the legendary mermaids of Issei Bay.
How amazing. I just can't stop saying it.
Without further ado, my name is Arnave Barnum, an American-born fantasy author. Well, there you go. Please call me Avi.
Who are you introducing yourself to, weirdo?
Oh, well, I simply thought a new beginning called for a little dramatic flair, you know?
Sure.
With that out of the way, perhaps my darling guide can provide some insight into the goings-ons of this locale.
Sure, I've got you covered.
Interesting. Any burbs? I don't see any. Woo woo! Wow, so American born, huh? They did say it. But somehow just having him imagine this guy with like an American accent just doesn't feel right either. Or even like him a southern boy or something like, nah, that does not feel right.
Oh, this area is now called NicoB. Long ago, it was a region of the Issei province known as Metsuo. Records indicate that 3 mermaids were caught in a fisherman's net along this coast back in the Heian period.
Now, that's what I'm talking about. Let's hear more about those mermaids.
They had human heads with the mouths of monkeys and the teeth and bodies of fish.
Mouths of monkeys?
And they spoke even shed tears like humans. Could these be the fish mermaids you mentioned before, Avi?
Indubitably. Yes, this must be the place. I'm getting goosebumps.
Right? I feel the same way. This is so exciting.
Betsuo. Betsuo is the old name for the area now known as Nakabeppo Kawage Town in the Age district. So named during the events of the story, it has since been merged with the Sioux town of Mie Prefecture. Said to have been the territory of Tairo no Kiyomori's father, Tairo no Tadamori, the area has a deep connection to the Issei Heike. It is also said to be the location where 3 mermaids were caught in a fisherman's net and presented in Tairo no Tadamori during the Heian period.
The endless expanse of the Issei Sea. The eternal world may lie just beyond this horizon. After all, Issei Province is the land where they repair the ways from the eternal world.
The eternal world is purported to be perpetual paradise. A separate plane from the world we live in, yes? Could it be that mermaids hail from such a place? Woo, 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 woo. Like some music. I think this might have been a song from Paranormasight as well. This young lady is a distant relative of mine, the 3rd daughter of the Lunar Light family. The Lunar Lights have been in the business of demonic exorcism in England for several generations now. As such, young Cersei has received education on this rare subject from a young age and is now an apprentice exorcist. In order to continue her training, or more likely simply because of her interest in the area, Cersei has come to Japan to study abroad. Upon hearing such news, I sought to employ her as my guide for this mermaid hunting expedition to Issei Bay. She's apparently quite fond of Japanese myths and folktales, and has already explored a number of areas concerned with the occult. Interested in visiting Mie Prefecture at least once during her stay, she immediately agreed to my request. Here we go. Cersei Lunar Light, so the distant relative, I see. A young exorcist from England, currently on exchange in Japan. Possessed of a bold and willful nature, she harbors an ardent interest in Japanese folklore and occult stories. She's quick to involve herself in anything that interests her, not stopping until her curiosity has been completely sated. Although she can be fairly blunt, she shows a naivety appropriate to her age, around those she's comfortable with, and is not above the occasional prank. Cersei is the 3rd daughter of Ciara Lunar Light, the current head of the matrilineal Lunar Light family, a long line of exorcists based in England. Along with her 2 older sisters, she has received a specialized education in exorcism ever since she was a child, and is currently in training as an apprentice. As the beings known as demons in the West ultimately share the same root cause as harmful supernatural phenomena in the East, the spirits of the dead, strong thoughts, and curses. What she does as an exorcist is fundamentally the same as what Japanese psychics do, with only the methods and terminology differing. Her powers. Primary spiritual abilities. Guardian spirits. The ability to call upon the numerous guardian spirits of the Lunar Light family and invoke their powers to exorcise spirits and negate certain psychic abilities. What the fuck? That's badass. It's like the Avatar or something. The Shikigami. The ability to turn a piece of paper with an individual's name written onto it into a butterfly, which will return to the individual in question. Although she does not have to be the one who wrote the name, it must be Cersei who casts a spell on the paper. That's going to be used for something later. Return to the individual. So like a note or something, so she could basically send a note to somebody else. Dowsing. The ability to use a pendulum to search for a target based on what the user can sense of their spiritual power. The effective distance of the spell depends on the strength of the target's spiritual power. Funny, so whatever she was using to freeze Sumeko and Yumiko and Soto in place. Maybe it was the Guardian Spirits or something. Although she's supposed to be in the care of the Paranormal Affairs Bureau, a confidential Japanese institute, during her time in Japan, Cersei has been spending more time traveling around the country, sightseeing than working through her training curriculum. The supervisor in charge of her training has all but given up on trying to manage her as a result, resolving to keep an eye on her but otherwise not interfere. As such, she's afforded a relatively high level of freedom. Cersei's an ardent fan of Mio Oh, no way! Really? Ardent fan of Mio Kurosuzu? Girl with potent spirit sense and her senior in the industry in Japan? Oh, shit. I want to... Dude, what's Mio doing? What's Mio up to? It's been like a year, right? She harbors with strong admiration and strong feelings of rivalry towards her in equal measure, and it is not uncommon for her to end up a babbling mess when the topic turns to the other girl. She treasures the photograph she had taken with Mio upon her first meeting her in Tokyo and keeps it with her at all times. Ah, I want to see that. Hopefully they show it. We've come all this way to a distant foreign land, seeking mermaids. Of course, I have my own reasons for trying to locate the mythical creatures, but for now I intend to scour this land in order to learn as much as I can about its lore and legends. But it occurs to me that I never actually explained the particulars of my Issei Bay mermaid excursion to the girl. No matter, it's nothing of consequence, really, so I'll just introduce my reasons a bit at a time. Alright, Arnav Barnum. Nickname Avi, a fantasy author and occult journalist whose books are published in both America and England, but they apparently don't sell well, unmarried. Notable works include The Fiend of Ringgit and The Solar Crow, Hermid's Travels, and Bon Appetit, the Phantom Gourmand series. Although a grown man, he still has a certain naive boyishness to him, most evident in his passion for romantic tales and appetite for chasing his dreams. However, this also comes with an equivalent amount of immaturity, making him somewhat troublesome to deal with. He believes that any circumstances he finds himself in will sort itself out, an optimistic creed that often sees him casually throwing himself into difficult situations. And he remains impressively unbothered even on those occasions he does find himself in trouble, often managing to slip out of danger with nary a dent in his usual carefree attitude. That he's made it this far unscathed is largely owed to sheer luck, although he remains blissfully unaware of this. He's currently in Japan seeking mermaid flesh, which is believed to grant immortality. His reason is simple, a fascination with the occult, a pursuit he feels is worthy of devoting his entire life to. So these two are just happen to be here. This really is just kind of happenstance. Not really like a deep connection specifically with anything revolving around Yuza or the mermaid, his mom, or anything like what Yumiko and Soto are there for. Indeed, he is primarily driven by his pursuit of romantic ideals. If he finds him something suitably inspiring, he will readily risk his life for it. He is willing to change his views just as quickly for the same. Abe's interest in the occult was born when he discovered his great-grandmother's vast collection of mysterious occult artifacts in the storage of his family home in America. Among them was a mermaid mummy, which yielded a mysterious map when taken apart, a discovery which captivated his imagination and led to his current quest. This great-grandmother happened to be a relative of the main Lunar Light family in England, albeit one who had chosen not to succeed the family estate. After discovering this through independent research into his lineage, Avi made contact with the Lunar Light family and continues to maintain a secret correspondence with them to this day. Gotcha. Okay.
Kawage Town might be located right next to the Mie Prefecture's modern capital, Sioux City, but there's something you have to keep in mind. This was also the birthplace of the Heike, a branch of the Heian period's preeminent Taira clan. If you're going to talk about the Issei province, then you absolutely have to mention the Heike.
I do have a passing understanding of the topic. The Heike took part in the Genpei War, correct?
That's right. That was the war in the Heian period where two great samurai families, the Minamoto and the Taira, locked horns and really got into it. Among the Heike, Taira no Kiyomori was a particularly famous figure who appears in many creative works concerning the event. His father, Taira no Tadamori, was the one responsible for securing the Heike's high social standing.
So, Tadamori was Kiyomori's father, right? With names like that, how can anyone hope to keep them straight?
That's history for you. I'm afraid you just have to memorize them.
I suppose you're right about that. Then memorize them I shall.
Apparently, Tadamori was born in Sioux City in a place called Ubashina.
Ah, so that's why they call this area the birthplace of the Heike.
Sioux City, a city located in the center of the Issei Plain in the capital Mie Prefecture. Previously known as the Natsu, Sioux City was served as a port town since the Heian period, after which it continued to flourish as an important port city for Japan. Sioux City is also known as the birthplace of the Heike. The Ubashina area and its suburbs is said to be where Taira no Kiyomori's father, Taira no Tadamori, was born.
This is the metropolitan center of Mie, and a locus of historical events. I guess that makes it the perfect place to start a new journey.
Talk about the Betsuo mermaids.
Can we get back to those mermaids you mentioned? What became of the three that were caught in the fishing nets?
At that time, the lord of this area was Taira no Tadamori. You didn't already forget him, did you? Well, the fishermen thought the mermaids were a fascinating find, so he placed 2 of them in 2 boxes and presented them to Tadamori.
Oh, Lord Tadamori must have been well pleased by that. How could he not be? It was known that eating the flesh of a mermaid grants eternal life.
Actually, Tadamori have evidently said they were disturbing and gross, and refused to accept them.
Gah, what a waste!
However, the fisherman cut up the remaining mermaid and ate it himself.
So, what happened to him?
Well, the fisherman said it was pretty tasty.
Well now, tasty, is it?
And that's all I've got.
That's it?
That's all I can find in existing records.
Then the act of eating a mermaid's flesh alone may not produce any results. I suppose then there may be other requisite conditions, wouldn't you say?
Which is what Yumiko said as well.
Well, considering the sheer number of eyewitness reports concerning mermaids, it is odd that there aren't more immortals walking around. There don't seem to be any records about what happened to the mermaids that Tadamori refused to accept. I suppose it's possible someone in the Heike clan stuck off with them.
Now that's a hypothesis I can get behind.
I put together an assortment of files concerning the Heike, so feel free to give them a look if you're interested.
You have my heartfelt gratitude.
Taira no Tadamori. Taira no Tadamori, the father of the Taira no Kiyomori, an influential figure of the Heian period, was the man responsible for solidifying the social standing of the Issei Taira clan, and was notable for being the first samurai permitted to enter the imperial court. Entering the imperial court meant being granted access to the Tenjo no Ma, a chamber where those who directly served the emperor performed their official duties. In an era where the warrior class was still considered of low status, a samurai rising to the level of court official was unprecedented. The Issei Taira clan went on to extend its influence across various provinces, with the vast wealth it gained through trade with the Song dynasty of China solidifying its foundation. This significant influence was later inherited by his son Kiyomori. Tadamori was said to have been a man of strong will and perseverance, yet despite the power he amassed in his lifetime, he was also said to have been modest and disinclined to indulge in luxuries. Nukamaru. Tadamori's sword, an heirloom passed down through the Taira clan. Originally named Kogarashi, it is said to have become known as the Nukamaru when a giant snake emerged from a lake and made to swallow Tadamori whole as he lay resting. So is this supposed to be the spirit that's cutting everybody down, essentially? At that moment, Kagarashi, which Tadamori had left leaning nearby, slipped from its scabbard of its own accord and drove the snake away. The name Nukamaru derives from the verb nuku, meaning to unsheath, and reflects the sword's extraordinary act of slipping from its scabbard on its own to save its owner. Nukamaru was later inherited by Tadamori's son, Yorimori, but after the downfall of the Taira clan, it is said to have changed hands several times, and its whereabouts are currently unknown. Maybe not, I don't know. If the sword got passed down, it might have been somebody else. the mermaids of Betsuo. One time when Tanomori was visiting Betsuo in Ise province, 3 creatures with the heads of humans, the lips of monkeys, and the teeth and bodies of fish were caught in the local fishermen's nets. Fucking weird combo. Dubbing these creatures Ninyo, the original Japanese word for mermaids. The fishermen put 2 of them in a box that had washed up with them and presented them to Tanomori. However, Tanomori was unnerved by their appearance and refused to accept them. It is said that the remaining mermaid was cut up and eaten by the fishermen, who found them to be delicious.
Oh, there's one thing I should warn you about, though.
Oh?
This group sometimes gets referred to as the Ise Taira as well, which makes things a little confusing. I'll go ahead and label it all as Heike.
Does it really matter? Aren't they basically the same thing?
Not exactly. You see, the term Ise Taira refers to the Taira clan as a whole, because it originated in Ise. On the other hand, people generally refer to the family within the clan that included Tanomori and Kiyomori as simply the Heike. The family features prominently in the stories we're interested in, so I use Heike most of the time. Plus, it has a nice ring to it.
Either way works for me, so do as you like.
The tale of Heike also used Heike.
You're awfully particular about this, but I rather like that kind of fastidiousness.
Anyway, after a number of events, the Heike would go on to lose the Battle of Dan-no Ura and be completely eradicated.
Ah, I believe I know this one. Dan-no-ura is found in the Kyushu, is it not?
Bingo! The clan was chased out of Kyoto and pushed further and further west until they were eventually wiped out there.
It pains me to think of such a resplendently glorious clan meeting such an ignominious end. More's the pity.
That's why the Heike's resentment is particularly strong, and many remnants of it remain even today. Shrines and monuments have even been erected throughout the land in an attempt to quell that resentment.
Ah, now we reach your particular field of expertise.
Because the clan fell from such an exalted position so abruptly, that resentment is exceptionally persistent and quite pervasive. That said, famous places related to people like Taira no Kiyomori are well attended by worshippers, so they're relatively stable. It's the puffed up and pretentious Heike clan members that no one even remembers who cause the most trouble.
I seem to recall a number of individuals going so far as to claim that those outside the Heike clan could not even be considered human. But if that's the case, are we really safe here? You don't think we might find ourselves assailed by these lingering grudges?
Much of the Ise province is protected by shrines, and the area is suffused with spiritual energy, so we're probably safer here than most places. But that's just the land itself. Objects or people that the resentment has seeped into are a different story altogether.
That's somewhat troubling to hear. I wish I had superpowers!
Well, either way you look at it, this region is still home to many places and things associated with the Heike.
Excellent. I believe I've gotten a grasp of the situation at hand. It's time we made our way to the next locale. We're on the clock, after all.
Let's get to it.
Okay. My little friend and I going on adventures. All right, now we get to see them actually questioning everyone in town here. God, I love the environments in this game.
Well, it would seem that we've arrived. Where are we now, Cersei?
This is an area in Ono Town known as Kusawa. Kusawa is quite famous because of the Yao Bikuni legend. I'd be surprised if there was anyone who hasn't heard of it.
I'm sorry to say I've never heard of it.
Wait, really?
Come now, don't act so shocked. You can't expect me to know every little thing. And besides, I'm not even from this country.
Look at her face.
The very reason I requested you to be my guide was so you could teach me about things like this.
I guess that's true. Okay, I understand.
I'll be counting on your explanations.
We fortunately already know about that legend. Honjo Town is located in the Age district, so named during the events of the story. It has since been merged with the Sioux city of Mie Prefecture. Located at the foot of Kyogamine, a mountain with a single 819-meter peak. The land surrounding it is rich in natural splendor, with multiple hot springs welling forth from the earth around it. From the Edo period until the Meiji period, it was known for being the primary place of production of sumoji, a delicate fabric woven in such a way as to be semi-transparent. See any birds? Bird? Hey! Yes, there is.
Look at you hiding up there, Mr. Penguin.
Damn, penguin with Kuwabara hair.
This is what you look like, penguins. I didn't know you were so fucking cool.
His little blue. I'm gonna call you little green. I mean blue.
Ah, the fabled beauty of the serene Japanese countryside. It really is charming.
Oh yes, the incessant chirping of locusts combined with unrelenting heat. This is Japanese summer, all right.
It is fascinating to think that such a peaceful place could be home to such profound historical events. I'm practically jittering with excitement.
I can see that. Let's try to keep a cool head, shall we?
She gets so excited.
What's down there? Some sort of shrine?
This shrine is apparently dedicated to Sugawara no Michizane. We should go pay our respects before we leave.
As far as the girl is concerned, I suppose I could be considered a guardian of sorts. Even so, I often find myself caught up in her pace and completely thrown off guard. If anyone should be shaking things up around here, it ought to be me.
The legend of Yabikuni originated here in Kusawa, Anotan. Long, long ago, a 17-year-old girl named Osato lived in this village.
Oh, now, all right. So, sort of getting that this is likely Sato.
She unknowingly ingested the meat of a mermaid that was served during a village gathering and became immortal.
Must be something else to it, though, right? So it's not just eating it. It must, right? That makes you immortal?
After subsequently being persecuted by the other villagers, she became a nun and made a pilgrimage around the entire country. At the end of the story, she eventually returned to this village and lived out the rest of her very long life.
Tales told in other parts of the country play out in almost exactly the same fashion.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yabikuni, the tale of Yabikuni Bikuni, fully ordained Buddhist nun who acquired pre-natural longevity after eating the flesh of a mermaid, can be found in almost every region of Japan. Although the exact details vary greatly between regions, they all share the same fundamental element. A girl who ate mermaid flesh lived for 800 years. The Yabikuni legend passed down to Mie Prefecture is as follows. So this is a different version of this event, right? Once upon a time, a beautiful girl by the name of Asato lived in Kusawa village. One day when Asato was 17, the flesh of a mermaid was served at a village gathering. The other villagers, disturbed with the thought of eating such a strange creature, refused to eat it, but Asato knowingly ate the mermaid's flesh. From that moment on, Asato didn't age a day. Shunned by the other villagers and treated as a monster, she was eventually forced to leave the village. Becoming a nun, Asato traveled the length and breadth of Japan for hundreds of years before eventually returning to Kusawa village, where her long life at last came to an end. Or did it? Yeah, it's here. Issei Mermaid legend. Tells of a named Asato from Kusawa in Anotown. Actually, no, I think it's, no, you know what? I think this is the first time we're getting enough details on Yabikuni. This is really actually all we had to start with was just this little blurb.
Yabikuni really did exist. Wonder what sort of life she led. I can't begin to imagine what it would be like to live for hundreds of years.
The legend of Yabikuni, the girl who ate the flesh of a mermaid and lived for 800 years, has been passed down all over Japan. Not only here in Prefecture's Ono Town, but in Fukui, Aichi, and Gifu prefectures as well. In total, the story has been found in 121 locations in 28 prefectures throughout the country, or at least that's what certain researchers indicated.
Doesn't that seem like a lot? Were there really that many different Yabikunis out there?
Obviously, not all the legends can be true, but I actually have a theory on this subject. Would you like to hear it?
By all means.
Oh, Most of the legends refer to a woman who stopped aging and lived for 800 years after consuming the meat of a mermaid. At that point, because others would find it strange that she wasn't getting any older, she wasn't able to live in normal society anymore.
I suppose that would be natural. It would explain why she withdrew from the world and became a nun.
Exactly. And that's how she got the name Yao Bikuni, the 800-year-old Bikuni nun. With 800 years on their hands, she could have easily made a pilgrimage around the entire country.
How interesting. Buddhist priests are known for trekking throughout the land as a form of aesthetic training.
And if we consider the 121 locations where the legend was found, with 800 years to spare, she could have spent 6 years in each location. 6 years would certainly be enough time for her to make a name for herself in each and every location, right?
Oh, my dear, I believe I see what you're getting at. Your theory posits that the stories of Yao Bikuni that have been passed down in every corner of the country all refer to the exact same individual.
Ah, yeah, I see. She's just been traveling around to different locations, spending time there until eventually, it starts getting weird that she's like not getting any older. It's a perpetual 17-year-old.
Well, it might be a bit much to say that all of them are the same. There may have been a few different people. But it's more convincing than the theory that there were 121 people. I also think that Yao Bikuni of Wakasa province is the most likely origin of the legend.
I wonder, don't all of the different instances of the story throughout Japan also claim that particular location as her place of final rest?
That may be true, but I assume that each of those different places wanted to have a grave or some other tangible marker to base the legend on. But with so many people that are purported to have lived for 800 years, all died around the same time, it seems pretty unlikely.
Then you believe some of the tales were embellished somewhat?
That sort of thing happens all the time. Legends are always mixtures of truth and fantasy. Moreover, it doesn't make sense that every single immortal would decide to become a nun. There were likely some places that simply believed Yao Bikuni was the term for an immortal.
For all we know, she said, "I'ma be none of that," and became an armor diver.
That's actually pretty insightful. Many legends are based on simple semantic misunderstandings.
Now wait just a minute. I won't stand here and let my dumb joke actually become a salient point of discussion.
Let's drop it then.
But still, if one were to somehow live for 800 years, a person that became immortal after the Kamakura period could still be alive today.
True. And if so, I'd love to sit them down for a long chat.
Can Kusawa's legend of Yao Bikuni really be true? There must be falsehoods and fictions mixed into the tale, surely.
Who knows? Ise province isn't that far from Wakasa province, after all. She may have simply walked here from there. The fact that the stories from each different area are so similar does make me wonder if they didn't get mixed together somehow.
Ah, you think the legend may be an amalgamation of stories from various locations?
Exactly. But then again,
Then again?
the immortal in the story was from this location has her own name, which gives the legend a certain verisimilitude.
Indeed it does.
I guess we can assume that a girl with that name really did live here long ago. Then something must have happened to make people believe that she had become immortal. It's reasonable to assume her story then got mixed up with various legends of Yao Bikuni around the country before being passed down.
Of course, the exact timing of these events is still unclear, but that does present an interesting possibility. She could very well still be living in this village. Wouldn't that be a compelling development?
Leave it to an occult writer to think up something like that.
That's right. You're seeing the prodigious imaginative power of a fantasy author in action.
Yes, it's really something. But the fact of the matter is that almost no traces of Yao Bikuni remain in this village. Even her grave, which is referred to as Lady Yao's tomb, has never been located.
But then, did we come all this way for nothing?
While it might not have a direct connection, but there is something one should always consider when discussing Issei. The Tales of Issei. Have you heard of it? It's the oldest extant collection of Japanese verse, compiled sometime during the Heian period.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with it. But I have heard of the Tale of Genji and the Tale of Heike. Is it anything like those?
Well, those were also stories written during the Heian period, but that's where the similarities end. Nice try, though.
Well, they sound similar enough in any way.
Don't worry, I'm not an expert on the subject either. Basically, this collection of verses elaborates on a number of waka poems by giving accounts of the events surrounding each one. The entire collection of 125 passages is referred to as the Tales of Issei. That's easy enough to remember, no?
The Tales of Issei is a collection of short stories. Check.
One more thing. The title might be The Tales of Issei, but the content isn't all that focused on the actual area.
What's this now? Are they intentionally attempting to confuse and bewilder us?
Some believe that the title comes from the fact that Passage 69 is set in Issei Province. At any rate, I just thought I should bring it up, because it does have at least a slight bearing on the topic at hand. If you're keen to learn more, I'll add more detailed information to the files.
Why, thank you. I'll be sure to read through them later. Or now!
Tales of Issei, a collection of verse or uta monogatari thought to be the oldest surviving work in Japan. It is strictly well known for the opening sentence of many of its prose passages. Long ago, there was a man. Believed to have been compiled in the Heian period, it greatly influenced the literature of the era, including famous works such as the Tale of Genji. The central figure of the narrative is speculated to be a fictionalized version of Arawara no Narihara, a poet of the Heian period, with the prose passages serving as a biography for the character. Both the author and its exact date of publication are unknown. The narrative spans 125 episodes, which vary in length from a few lines to several pages. It covers the life of a man from his coming of age to his death and focuses primarily on the protagonist and the people around him, particularly his romantic dalliances with women. Some of its most famous episodes are summarized below. Episode 1, Uiko Buri. Having come of age, a man sets out on a ceremonial falconry excursion where he catches sight of two beautiful sisters. Infatuated, he cuts off the sleeve of his robe, inscribes a waka poem on it, and says it to them. Episode 6, Akutagawa. A man, having finally succeeded in stealing away a beautiful noble woman, flees with her to a warehouse where they take shelter from the rain. However, the man discovers in the morning that she has disappeared, devoured by a demon that inhabited the warehouse. Episode 9, Azuma Kudari. Feeling despondent about his future, a man embarks on a journey to the east with a group of friends. In Mikawa province, he catches sight of some beautiful flowers and reflects on how far his journey has brought him, and recites a poem. In Suruga province, he sees snow on the peak of Mount Fuji, contemplates the passage of time, and recites a poem. In Musashi province, he spots an unfamiliar bird on the shores of Sumida River, recalls his wife and hometown, and recites a poem. His friends all weep upon hearing the latter, moved by his feelings for his faraway home. Episode 23, Tsutsui Zutsu. Close friends from childhood, a man and a woman exchange poems and are wed. But when the man prepares to travel to faraway Kawachi province to visit his other lover, the woman displays no hint of displeasure as she sees him off on his journey. Suspicious of her actions, the man hides in their garden and watches his wife mix herself up as beautifully as she can. When she then sits and recites poems out of concern for her traveling husband, he feels a profound shame and decides not to go to Kawachi. So he suspects that she's cheating on him, and then turns out she just dolled herself up to recite poems out of concern for her husband. Damn it! Episode 69. It's just called Nice. Kari no Nice. Tsukai. Having been sent to Issei province to hunt game, a man is received with great hospitality by the imperial princess serving as priestesses at Issei shrine. Attracted to each other, the two attempt to meet in secret, but can find no opportunity to speak intimately. Although they promise one another to meet the following day, it is not meant to be. The two exchange poems of farewell before the man sets out to continue his journey. Damn, this man gets around. Like, I'm assuming this is the same man. Yeah, it is. Episode 95, Hikabashi. Having fallen in love with a woman who serves in the imperial court, a man finally manages to meet her after patiently waiting for the right moment. However, the two are still separated by a screen. The man recites a poem to her, proclaiming that his love for her is greater than even Hikaboshi's love for Orihime. compares the screen separating them to the Milky Way that separated the two legendary lovers. Moved by his words, the woman removes the screen, allowing them to finally meet face to face. God, he meets so many ladies. Jesus.
What is a man but a miserable pile of secrets?
There's one other thing we can learn from the tales of Issei. Adding the tale of to a book titled really cuts things up. You should keep it in mind. It was apparently all the rage during the Heian period.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. My next work is certainly going to be a tale of. Well then, I suppose that brings this particular subject to a close. On to the next. No rest for the wicked, I say. Time to tackle the next mermaid myth.
Sure.
More mermaids, more myths. I love mermaids. Let's go to futabadabadabadi-la-la-ba-la. Or, something akin to whatever the fuck I just said.
Hey, I think this is where we discover the body of Mare, right? As in her mermaid form, or as a mermaid skeleton with Yumiko and Soto.
And here we find our next subject of inquiry. What place might this be, my dear?
This is Futamigora. The coastline that lies beside Futami Town. It's just over from Issei City.
Ah, then we finally penetrated the outskirts of Issei City proper. Things are certainly beginning to heat up. I infer that Issei City was the prefectural capital from the fact that Mie Prefecture was once known as Issei Province. Not bad, eh?
Oh, well, I can understand how you would arrive at that conclusion. But the truth is, Mie Prefecture is composed of 4 separate provinces. Issei, Shima, Iga, and Ki.
Ah, is that so?
But that doesn't change the fact that Issei City is regarded as the spiritual capital of Japan, making it a very important location.
Very interesting. But the sun has already begun its steady descent, so perhaps we should pick up the pace a bit.
I don't see any burbs. Yeah, this is where the body is later.
Futamigora Sea is famously said to purify the body, so many visitors to Issei Shrine come here as well. The scenic beauty of the location has even been featured in poems from antiquity.
It certainly is easy on the eyes. The strands of pine trees along the shore make for quite the striking image.
To make it even better, the embankment we're standing on offers a 360-degree view of the Issei Bay.
It makes you want to get out on the very edge to take it all in.
It really does. Being surrounded by the bay like this is such an enchanting feeling. What a breathtaking view.
Of course, I have my own reasons for trying to locate the mythical creatures. But for now, I intend to scour this land in order to learn as much as I can about its lore and legends.
He does have some other hidden reasons, huh?
As far as the girl is concerned, I suppose I could be considered a guardian of sorts. Once I've been caught up in a pace, throw off guard. Anyone should be shaking the air. It's all me, it's the same thing.
Funny, he didn't have a check mark next to it.
So, does this place have any legends featuring mermaids?
It does. A record called the Kogenki was written by people at Haruji Temple after the Kamakura period. In that record, there are a total of 6 instances of information concerning mermaids.
6, eh? That's certainly promising.
One of those entries describes a sighting here in Futami, Issei Province, on April 3rd, during the 2nd year of the Anban era, which would be 1357.
Girl, how are all you people fucking memorizing all of these dates and locations and shit? Like, holy crap. The fact that you all know this shit. I mean, I get it. Like, everyone's kind of supposed to be specialized in this field, so it's like less insane and weird than, like, say, the random horseshit that happens in almost any Uchikoshi game. Like all the Zero Escape games where like, have you ever heard of this fucking ancient Egyptian lady called All Eyes and her crazy legend that I just happened to think of offhand here? But it's just insane that they're able to keep track of all these dates and crazy Japanese names, all right? Just reading it's already making my fucking brain hurt.
So they even noted the exact date. How fortuitous.
The passage is as follows. From the sea of Futami in Issei Province came Enmeiju, delivering perpetuity.
So, what exactly does that mean?
My guess is that a mermaid was spotted in the sea by Futami, and it was named Meiju, meaning health and long life, because it granted longevity.
Aha! It granted longevity, did it? Finally, we're getting to the good stuff.
Yes, it's another account relating mermaids to Yabukuni. It seems the idea of mermaids granting immortality had already been established at the time.
Indeed. And now we even have a name. So what sort of mermaid was this? And what became of it?
No clue.
Again with the fake records. These people write down the appearance of some fantastical creature and then just let it wander off.
I haven't personally gone over every bit of research on the matter, but I can speculate on an answer. Records of mermaids in other places also often refer to them by name. In fact, it may not have been all that uncommon for the people in the area to encounter them when these records were written.
Let me see if I follow your meaning. The same mermaid would appear repeatedly, leading people in the area to grow accustomed to it. Am I on the right track?
Exactly. I mean, you wouldn't bother giving a name to something you only saw once, after all. These people may have even come to have a kind of rapport with the mermaids. At the very least, it doesn't appear as though they were trying to capture any.
Mermaids that people didn't want to capture. Then they weren't seeking its flesh. Perhaps there was a way of obtaining immortality even without the meat?
Maybe mermaid meat really was just tasty and nothing more. And if that were the case, then it makes perfect sense that they would view the mermaid as a divine creature.
So they treat it as an auspicious being that blessed others with long life. You may be on to something there.
This makes you think of that theory you mentioned about how there might be two different kinds of mermaids.
Oh, you remembered. I stand by my theory. There's the fish mermaid, which looks more like an aquatic monster, beastie. And the human mermaid, which resembles a demi-human or nymph.
Indeed. That's the simplest way to describe it, anyhow. Assuming the mermaid in question had a name, formed relationships with humans, and granted longevity. It stands to reason it was of the human mermaid variety.
You have a point. The mermaids we've encountered thus far have all been caught in nets and appear to be more like fish mermaids.
It seems more likely, then, that the mermaids who grant longevity are actually these human mermaids.
Interesting. That in turn would suggest... My word! Would this mean that one could become mortal without eating their flesh?
I'm not sure. There are countless legends that reference the need to consume the flesh. But I can't help but feel like there's more to it.
I like how she keeps looking over here like this. She's like, "Ooh, look at this cigarette! Look at this! Woo! Oh, what is it? Oh, nothing really. Well, what do you want? Oh, nothing. I'm just kidding. Okay. Woo! Woo! Woo!
Goodness, Avi, have you had enough faffing about?
No, I haven't. Do some more. You're gonna mess up your neck that way.
I'm going to finish looking at what I want to look at, and you're not going to stop me. If human mermaids are capable of communicating with us, I'd really like to speak to one.
Agreed.
What now?
Speaking of which, this is entirely unrelated, but there's something I've been wondering. Do you mind?
What? But our conversation was just getting good.
Protest all you like, but I shall ask anyway. On our way here, I noticed a certain something adorning the entrances to everyone's houses. What was that?
Oh, right. Those are Somen Shaurai talisman.
Somen Shorai?
Yes, although in most of Japan, they're usually only hung up around the new year, but here in the Issei Toba Shima region, they're traditionally left up all year long.
Interesting.
I can add more detailed information to the files for you later.
The Summon Shorai. A type of talisman described with the characters of Summon Shorai Shison, meaning descendant of Summon Shorai. These talismans come in a variety of forms, ranging from smaller objects such as paper slips, wooden tags, or hexagonal wooden charms to larger objects such as hoops made of entwined miscanthus reeds, or a shimenawa, sacred ropes used for ritual purification. These talismans are generally placed at the doorways of households to pray for sound and health and to ward off illness. Many households in Ise Shima place Somen Shorai talismans at the entrance to their homes, usually in the form of paper or slips or shimenawa. Although most families in Japan only put shimenawa up during the new year, in Ise Shime they keep them up the whole year round, being replaced once a year on New Year's Eve. The word Somen Shorai originated from the name of the central figure in the legend of the same name, although many versions of the tale exist throughout Japan. The tale is generally told as Ise Shime is as follows. On New Year's Eve, the deity Gozu Tenno set out to court the Princess Ryugu. Princess Ryugu. However, when night fell, he found that none of the nearby inns had a spare room to offer him, so he turned to two brothers who lived by the sea for hospitality. The wealthy younger brother, Kotan Shorai, turned him away despite having the means to accommodate him. The elder brother, Somen Shorai, welcomed Gozu Tenno into his home even though he lived in poverty. Pleased by the simple yet heartfelt reception he'd received, Gozu Tenno rewarded this hospitality by sparing only Somen Shorai from a plague that ravaged the area the next year. Ever since, it is said that the hanging a wreath of miscanthus reeds and a charm declaring oneself to be a descendant of Somen Shorai from one's waist will offer protection from plagues and illness. This tradition has survived to the present day, where such charms are now used as talismans for good health and well-being. Huh. So I mentioned Ryugu again. So that's to the court of Princess Ryugu, which is another thing, actually, yeah. Tales of Ryugu.
Ah!
What is it? What? What is it? Now you're making me antsy. Come on! Come now, Cersei! You realize something about those Somen Shorai, didn't you? You must share.
No, nothing like that. It just made me think about how close this area is to the eternal world.
Is it? What does that mean?
You already know this from the files, but regarding the Somen Shorai, its origin goes back to a legend about the deity Gozu Tenno, who was courting the princess of Ryugu.
Huh. Ryugu, you say?
That's right. Ryugu is close to this place. In other words, that place is very close to the eternal world. Yes, and furthermore, Gozu Tenno was also the guardian deity of the Gion Shoujo Temple.
See, I got this scene here, right, where we're like panning across the screen, right? We actually have like a depth of field, right? First, Avi over there was clear, she was fuzzy, and then it switched to her. Like, things like that is what, like, makes all the dialogue and stuff so, like, engaging. So, it'd be so much less engaging if they were just perfectly static images, right? And I'm just going through these things and it was just showing text on the screen.
The very same Gion Shoujo who gets mentioned in our good old friend, The Tales of Heike.
So it is. What was it again? From the bells of Gion Shoujo echoes out the impermanence of all things, right? It sounds so cool that I even memorized it. Haven't got a clue what it means, though.
Yes, that's the one. As for its meaning, you can look it up yourself.
Fine. So what you're saying is, Ise Shima is a land with deep ties to both Ryugu and the Heike. And that is exactly why the Somen Shorai tradition is so well established here.
Ah, that reminds me. There's something about Ryugu's princess that keeps bothering me as well.
She certainly is mysterious, hmm?
That reminds me about Futamigara.
My God, it's nighttime now. We've been talking so long. Dear me, how time flies when listening to your lectures, Cersei. Sun has already gone down.
I suppose I got carried away. Sorry.
Well, if that results in such a lovely view of the sea at night, I'll not complain.
You're right. Just look at all those stars.
No light pollution.
Ah.
Cool.
But look, the heavens are entirely enveloped in a shower of dazzling pinpricks of light. What a sight to behold. Would you happen to be versed in the constellations, Cersei?
Well, I've dabbled a bit in astrology, so I guess I know a thing or two.
Excellent. Do tell.
Oh, but we really let time get away from us. Look how dark it's gotten.
Without the light from the stars above, we'd be lost in pitch darkness.
Funny, a bird just randomly showed up now. Now it's nighttime.
Dear me, I dragged her around all day long, didn't I? Perhaps I should say I had her drag me around all day long. As a guardian for the time being, I suppose I ought to have had us retire earlier. Though Circe herself seems to have limitless reserves of energy.
Well, if we consider the constellations you can see in Japan during summer, the first one that comes to mind is the Summer Triangle. It's an easy one to find.
Triangle, eh? Then I presume it is made up of 3 stars.
Correct. Vega in the constellation Lyra, Deneb in the constellation Cygnus, and Altair in the constellation of Aquila. This trio of bright stars can be observed close to the Milky Way in this season.
What? I want to see. How do we go about identifying them?
Well, first, low in the southwestern portion of the sky, look for a star that glows red, and Taurus of the Scorpio constellation.
I think I just saw that, actually.
Southwest, you say? From here, that would mean facing inland and looking to the right.
Okay, try to find a red star low in the sky and point to it.
Ooh. Possibly the most famous of the summer constellations, the Summer Triangle is formed by connecting Vega in the constellation Lyra, Deneb, constellation Cygnus, and Altair in the constellation Aquila. Vega and Altair are also said to represent Orihime and Ukikaboshi, the 2 central figures of the Tanamata legend. The romantic imagery of the star-crossed lovers separated by the Milky Way has captivated people's imaginations since time immemorial. How to find the Summer Triangle? Summer Triangle is visible in the sky almost directly overhead around August. Start by facing southwest and looking low in the sky to find Antares, bright red heart of the constellation Scorpius. From there, look straight up and you should spot Vega near the zenith. Granted, you have to go someplace without any light pollution to see this shit. Anyway, it's right there.
Wait, I do believe I found it. The stardust there with the reddish tint. That must be Antares, right?
Yes?
Correct. That is indeed Antares, the brightest star in the Scorpio constellation.
Ha ha! I found it all by myself. I'd make quite the celestial cartographer if I do say so myself.
I did rain on your parade, but you were supposed to be looking for a star in the Summer Triangle, so please try again.
Egads, that's right.
Why not try looking straight up from Antares? I bet you'll find Vega at the sky zenith. Give it a shot.
There, that must be it.
Bingo, that's Vega, one of the 3 stars in the Summer Triangle. In Japan, Vega is also called the Orihime star, and is famous for its connection to the Tanabata Star Festival.
Then that must mean Hikaboshi will be on the opposite side of the Milky Way from that one.
Exactly right. Can you figure out which one it is? One of the other stars in the Summer Triangle is in the same area, so see if you can find it.
So that would be you?
Eureka! I've spotted it.
Oh, that's Altair, one of the 3 stars in the Summer Triangle. Part of the Aquila constellation, Altair is known in Japan as Hikaboshi for its role in the Tanabata Star Festival.
Yeah, so it's right between the Milky Way.
Oh, that means I managed to spot both Orihime and Hikaboshi. It's as if I've drawn the 2 star-crossed lovers together with my own hand. How overjoyed they must be.
Yeah. Nice work. Didn't expect you to be such a romantic. There's still another star in the Summer Triangle to find. It might be hard to see because of the angle.
Right you are. It certainly is a bit tricky to see something's directly above you. If my eyes is as discerning as I believe it to be, that's the one.
Oh, nice find. That's Deneb, one of the 3 stars in the Summer Triangle. Deneb lies within the Milky Way, which earns it its nickname Milky Way Star.
Ah, it does indeed appear to be swimming nicely along that star stream. There! I've located all 3 stars of the Summer Triangle. How do you like that?
Good work.
She clapped.
Now you've mastered the summer skies. Shall I start addressing you as Professor?
That's me. Feel free to rely on my knowledge.
All right then. Tell me, what is the name of the star Hikaboshi?
Altair.
That's right. Well done, Professor.
Phew. I mean, nothing to it. Regardless, we've seen all there is to see here in Futa Magara. I'd even go so far as to call this a wrap. I think that covers all the mermaid legends for Mie Prefecture. But is there anywhere else here you're keen to visit, Cersei?
What? We haven't even visited Issei Shrine yet. If you ask me, we barely scratched the surface.
Ah, you've got a point there. But it's getting late, so let's save that for tomorrow, shall we?
All right.
The next day.
And we're back.
Mount Tasama. This really is just a grand old expedition. They are just expositing so many tales and things about the area. Damn, we way up here.
Wow! Talk about a gorgeous view!
It is something, isn't it? This is Mount Tasama's observation platform. It overlooks Toba City on one side and Issei City on the other.
So that's Toba City over there, eh? What's Toba got going for it?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind when thinking about Toba is Toba Castle, built in the Sengoku period by none other than the pirate daimyo Lord Cookie, who at one time led the Cookie naval fleet.
Oh, that's more exciting than I anticipated.
As for the Toba Shima area, it's famous for having the highest population of Amo divers in Japan.
Ha ha! I knew there'd be something touristy. What a fantastic blend of culture and history.
Mount Asama. It straddles the border between Issei City and Toba City and is also known by its official name of Asama Gatake. Part of the Issei Shime National Park, it was selected as one of the 100 landscapes of Japan, a listing of famous scenic sites gathered from across the country. Kangoshoji, a temple located on the southern peak of Mount Asama, was built to protect Issei Shrine from the northeast, traditionally regarded as a spiritually vulnerable direction. Perhaps as a result, many worshippers who visit Issei Shrine also make the journey to Kangoshoji. The observatory at the peak of the mountain offers a sweeping view of Toba City and the many islands that dot Issei Bay.
Look at all these cool things. But more importantly, are there any fucking birds up here? In the sky, maybe?
Ooh, look at the lens flare.
Woo! I'm gonna stare directly in the sun. Look at this shit. Okay, so that maybe wasn't the brightest idea of mine.
Apparently, Mount Asama's peak sits at 555 meters above sea level, so it's not that high. But as it's situated at the tip of the Shima Peninsula, it offers a magnitude view of Toba Bay's coastline and the outlying islands.
As we stopped by the shrine this morning, I assumed we'd take the mountain path. All I can say is this place takes my breath away.
Take your breath away! Over there you can see the city of Toba spread out along the coast. By the way, they tend to call this the Issei Shima region. But most of the time, the term includes Toba as well. Something to keep in mind.
So when I hear Issei Shima, I should also think Toba, eh? Good to know.
Issei Shima. Although the Issei Shima is sometimes used to refer to as part of the Nansei southern region of Mie Prefecture, the area covered by this term is not clearly defined, with it usually referring to the two major tourist destinations, Issei Shrine and Shima Peninsula and the surrounding areas. As the area referred to as Issei Shima Shima also includes Toba City, it is also sometimes referred to as the Issei Toba Shima area to avoid confusion.
She's been packed and ready to venture forth since the early hours of the morning. Though I've myself beat her to the punch, I've been too excited to sleep a wink all night. She can't beat me! For what I hear, lots of inns in Toba are run by Amo divers and fishermen. I can't wait to dig into some seafood tonight.
First off, you should know that the naval troops in the Sengoku period were basically just pirates.
Pirates, eh?
Yes, they would put together crews of rowdy sailors, arm them to the teeth, and have them patrol a designated area of the sea. They only actually served under their commander as a naval force when there was a battle.
So that's what the Navy was like back then, A ragtag bunch of pirates, only called on to do their duty in times of need.
Exactly. In fact, such forces only came to be called navies during the Edo period, and that was purely a matter of convenience. As for the Cookie Navy, It was one of the pirate bands patrolling the waters of Issei Bay. A man named Kuki Yoshitaka was his commander, hence the name. He distinguished himself in the service of Oda Nobunaga and Toyotomi Hideyoshi, eventually rising to the position of daimyo of Shima province. That's why they called him the Pirate Daimyo. He started as a lowly pirate, but rose all the way to the top of the chain of command.
Did you say Oda Nobunaga? Him I've heard of. He was the Demon King of the Sixth Heaven, no?
True, but that's a title he gave himself.
Still, a pirate and a daimyo. What an enchanting combination.
That may be, but it wasn't blessed where allies were concerned. It seems he was always butting heads with his relatives.
Oh?
For one thing, he may have had his nephew Sumitaka assassinated in order to take over the Kuki clan.
The Cookie Clan?
He also fought on the opposite side to his own son, Moritaka, in the decisive battle of Sekigahara. And in the end, spurred on by his vassals, he committed suicide on Toshijima, that island over there. So while Kuki became daimyo of Shima province, his land was confiscated during his son's rule, and the clan fell into decline.
Life truly is full of ups and downs. How the mighty do fall. He must have been quite a character. But not as much as I am a character.
That reminds me, there's another fascinating legend related to the Kuki clan.
Oh? Do tell. It was about a cookie monster. He wanted cookies.
It's about Kuki Yoshitaka's nephew, Sumitaka. He had an extraordinarily beautiful daughter named Princess Hatsune.
Hatsune Miku? I dare say I know where this is going. Whenever a legend starts with a beautiful daughter, it inevitably ends with trouble.
You're not wrong there. Princess Hatsune was so beautiful that she saw no end of suitors, and her father sought to marry her off to achieve his political ends. But the princess already had a lover, so she fought against her father's plans and even ran away several times, only to be brought home.
I knew it. Alas, that's what life was like for the daughters of powerful figures in those days.
Well, Princess Hatsune lamented her fate. Must I be cursed for such misfortune merely for my beauty? And she didn't stop there. May no beautiful daughter be born to this land again. Such was the curse she left behind before throwing herself down a well. And so ends the legend.
Not what I'd call a happy ending. The princess may have had good intentions, but I'm sure no one else felt that she was doing them any favors.
Good intentions? That isn't how I interpreted it.
Well, what's your take on the story then?
When authority figures try to force other people's hands, they bring these things upon themselves. It's just asking to get cursed.
Fair enough. I see your point. Those eyes.
Still, the princess did take a bit far. To me, though, it almost feels like that part was tacked on later. As if someone thought it would make the story more impactful, and that word of it would travel further if the princess killed herself at the end.
Oh, if you're right, that would change the story completely.
But there is something else that interests me more. Sumitaka became head of the Kuki clan in 1560, but he was so young that Yoshitaka had to be appointed as his guardian. His exact age at the time isn't known, but the common belief is that he was about 8 years old.
Nothing unusual there. Premature inheritances were a common occurrence in those days.
But consider this, when Sumitaka died 24 years later, in 1584, he would have been 32 years old.
Yes?
Even if we suppose that Princess Hatsune was 15, their ages don't quite add up, do they?
Age differences weren't so much a point of contention back then, but even so, that is a bit odd.
Which begs the question, did Princess Hatsune really exist to begin with?
How do you know she did? Was she really Sumitaka's daughter?
An agate, Magatama, was unearthed at the place where the princess was supposedly buried. But that could easily have been planted there to lend credibility to the tale.
Well, once you start doubting, it's harder not to see lies everywhere.
True, and the pursuit of the unknown star starts with the belief, doesn't it?
Well said.
A certain occult researcher told me that one.
You don't say.
Kuki Princess Hatsune.
The Cookie Clan!
The pirates became feudal lords. During Sengoku period, Shima Province was home to a number of local clans, among which the Kuki clan was just one of the many pirate clans operating in Ise Bay. However, things changed when Kuki Yoshitaka correctly read the changing tides and allied himself first with Oda Nobunaga and then Toyotomi Hideyoshi, both powerful figures of the era. Rising to prominence as a commander of the Kuki Navy, he became the feudal lord of Shima Province, founding Toba Castle as his base of operations. While Yoshitaka was in the service of Nobunaga, the head of the Kuki clan was his nephew, Sumitaka, with Yoshitaka serving as his advisor. Despite his positions, Sumitaka was little more than a puppet lord and died young, reportedly due to illness, just 2 years after the Honnoji incident. However, some theories suggest that he was actually poisoned by Yoshitaka as part of a scheme to seize control of the family. The legend of Princess Hatsune. Kuki Sumitaka's daughter, Princess Hatsune, was said to have been a woman of great beauty. Sumitaka planned to marry her off as part of a political marriage. However, Princess Hatsune refused, saying that she had already promised her future to someone else. Upon learning that Princess Hatsune's beloved was a member of an enemy clan, Sumitaka was enraged and insisted that she marry the person he had chosen for her. Although Princess Hatsune made numerous attempts to escape in order to be with her lover, she was caught each time and forced to return home. Despairing of her fate, Princess Hatsune lamented her beauty, blaming it for her predicament, before throwing herself down a well in her sorrow. As she did so, she prayed with her last breath that no beautiful women would ever be born in that land again, or so the legend goes. Despite the tale persevering as part of local folklore, many questions about the accuracy of Princess Hatsune's legend remain, including Sumitaka's age at the time.
Oh, I just realized something. Kuki Sumitaka died, or was assassinated exactly 400 years ago.
Is that significant?
It is. A special spiritual significance is attached to periods of 400 years. For instance, the cycle of death and rebirth supposedly lasts 400 years, and some stories claim that the soul endures for 400 years. Of course, 800-year immortals have twice that lifespan, but as you can see, 400 years is widely considered a good cutoff point.
So there's a chance something happens after 400 years.
Maybe. In any case, we should probably tread carefully here.
It sounds to me as if we're in the right place at the right time.
Amo divers have a long history in the Tobashima region. Evidence indicates that free divers have been fishing in the area since ancient times.
You don't say.
Most notably, it is said that that Oben, who once presented an abalone to Yamatohime no Mikoto, was the very first Amo diver. In fact, there is a shrine dedicated to Oben in Kuzaki that is considered a sacred place to Amo divers of the Tobashima region.
Is that so? They must have been truly legendary.
Moreover, there are several poems in the famous 8th century poetry anthology Manyas Yoshu that depicts the Amo diving in Shima province. Amo divers also appear in dozens of ukiyo-e from the Edo period. Clearly they were a popular theme.
It's quite incredible to think that their method of fishing has not only endured for so long, but has been recorded in such exquisite detail.
There is another point worth noting. Amo divers have long been likened to mermaids for their skill and grace. You could even argue that the Amo diver culture that is so deeply rooted in this place is interwoven with the region's mermaid legends.
Ah, yes. There's a theory that the mermaids of Ise Bay were simply Amo divers.
It does seem likely there's a connection between the two. I wouldn't be surprised if they were the originators of the legend.
Perhaps, but I'd be beyond disappointed if that's all there is to it.
Oh, right. By the way, there's another legend surrounding the Amo divers of the Todashima region regarding something called the Tomokazuki.
The Tomokazuki.
It is believed that an Amo diver may encounter a copy of herself underwater
Hey,
and will then offer her an abalone. If she accepts, the Tomokazuki doppelganger will drag her to the bottom of the sea, never to be seen again.
Ah, Cersei, please don't spring scary stories on me out of nowhere.
That's why the Amo divers of this area wear the Simon and Dolman symbols on them while they dive. It's a tradition that has continued right up to the present day. There must be some reason for it beyond pure superstition.
Interesting.
Yep, we knew that one.
On another note, the armor divers of the Tobashima region possess such exceptional diving skills that in addition to fishing, they also saved people from drowning and fetched objects that had sunk to the seafloor, right up until the Meiji era.
Well, well, it sounds as if they were true diving professionals.
Exactly. In fact, after the Heike were defeated at Dano no Ura and were lost beneath the waves.
Oh, we're back to the Heike already? Wasn't aware there was a connection.
Well, after that fateful battle, who do you think they sent to reclaim the legendary sword Kusanagi no Tsurugi from the seafloor? 2 armor divers.
Ah. Aha! So their lost and found services were being employed even back then, eh?
And while they were diving, they came face to face with the vengeful spirits of the drowned Heike.
Ugh. Cersei, please, you're going to give me nightmares.
At least that's what's depicted in the ukiyo-e entitled In the Western Sea. The diving women encountered the Heike in the depths of the water.
That's a bit of a spoiler title. Such a deep connection. To think the Heike were even once depicted with armor divers. They truly are a symbol of the Ise-shima region.
Yes, but the setting for ukiyo-e is Dan no Ura, which isn't anywhere near here. Still, it does go to show that armor divers have held a deep connection to the sea for a very long time. And when we're talking about the Tobashima region, armor divers are always going to be key players.
True. If you ask me, they should be brought up before the pirates.
Mind you, the Navy had a crucial role to play too.
Right. Well, as fascinating as all this has been, Cersei, I'd say it's high time we return to our primary topic of interest here.
Oh, and what would that be? Personally, now that we visited the Ise Shrine, I'm more or less satisfied.
Cersei, you disappoint me. We didn't come here purely to chase legends, did we?
Oh, and here I was hoping that we could move on to buying souvenirs next.
You know perfectly well that the true purpose of my voyage is nothing more or less than a treasure hunt.
Right.
Of course, I'm sure all this information we've been gathering will come in handy as well. First things first, let's head back to the inn. From there, we can plan our next move.
Holy shit, that was a fucking mouthful of Oh, hey, there's another vent between them. That was a fucking mouthful, dude. Jesus Christ. It was just like tail after tail after tail after tail. Holy shit. They were just like, all right, how would we exposit all of these fucking insane myths and tales that we still have left in the narrative? I don't know. Let's just have the 2 characters from the start just go on a nice little tour, and she's just gonna tell all of them. All of them. Holy crap. That was a lot. Ah, that's where the penguin is. I freaking knew the leader of the hoodlum band who Blue's Brutal Beaks. I fucking knew it, penguins. I fucking knew it. Freaking tit for tat. They're best buds, right? Treasure hunt, huh? So after collecting information about mermaids returning to their inn, Avi and Cersei have a meeting to plan for their true objective, the treasure hunt. Ryokan guest room.
Now then, I believe it is time we discuss our strategy.
Sure. What do you mean by strategy?
It should be obvious. We must reflect on all we've learned if we want to move it forward. But more importantly, is there a burden here? Hey, it's the poster. It's a poster advertised at the island of Kamishima.
I'd love to pay a visit to a remote island like that. The name is intriguing, too.
Oh, we will. Ah, Kami means turtle, doesn't it? It's a poster of Kamishima.
I just can't shake this weird feeling.
Huh? Why? Is there something wrong with the island? Or the poster?
The poster, I believe. Do you mind if I take a closer look? My hunch was right. There's a presence here.
What the fuck? What?
No way. Come on, don't scare me like that.
What? Remove it?
Ready?
Yes, please proceed.
You sure? Because I'll do it. I really will. There's no telling what might happen. What may happen.
Quit stalling.
Bird!
Mock bird! Wow, I thought it was gonna be a major story. I thought I discovered a major story thing. Nope, it's got another mock bird. Don Heron.
Goddamn, you sneaky bitch.
That's all it was.
This is Mura Kamote, small inn located in Toba. It's laid back in that feels more like a private residence from a hotel thanks to the attentive staff. I could barely count all the different fresh fish we were served for dinner last night. I've not felt so full in a while. The door to our room, outside is a hallway with a restroom and a wash basin for communal use. Guests place their shoes in the cubbies at the entrance and wear slippers while inside the inn. Extra lights for the room, a lot of attention was paid to creating a comfy atmosphere for the guests. May resemble an L-shaped dividing screen, but I think this is actually a towel rack.
You're close. It's a small clothes rack.
I see. So that's what it is.
Yes, normally it's used to hang kimonos. This one is quite small. Suppose this works well for towels and other small garments.
You're quite knowledgeable.
Ooh, briefcase.
My bag, a faithful travel companion of several decades. Some of the notes I've taken, the information in them is not substantive and likely of no use. But I still have it here because fuck you. Light is passing through the windows. It's hot outside, so I'll leave them closed. Dried flowers. So this is the embodiment of the Japanese concept, wabi-wabi, or however you say it.
Wabi-wabi!
A hanging scroll perfectly complements the tatami room.
This room may not have a dedicated alcove, but the scroll still really ties the room together. How lovely.
What the hell is that? Oh, mosquito repellent. Each room is equipped with a mosquito trap. They tend to come in through the windows on hot days. It's a neat contraption. You just have to plug it in and place it, and it will kill any nearby mosquitoes. Traps like these are reliable, as well as easier and safer than the combustible type, so they've gotten quite popular.
Got a phone over there.
This phone can only be used to call the front desk, as such calls are impossible. Seems to me she knows her fair share of both useful and useless facts. It's time to get down to business, though. This is a sketch of the mermaid mummy that I found in our family storage. Bringing it along would have been out of the question, so I settled on just bringing a sketch. Oh, that's right. I still haven't told Cersei why I'm searching for mermaids.
Business card.
Oh, is this the business card from the guy we met earlier?
It is. I managed to glean some surprisingly good information from that exchange.
What the hell? Oh.
First things first, let's head back to the inn. From there we can plan our next move. Suddenly,
Pardon me, would the lovely lady and handsome gentleman be willing to spare me a moment?
why, yes, the gentleman does have some time.
I suppose that makes me the lady then. Oh, it's you.
Who the fuck are you?
You've been following us for quite some time.
He has? For how long?
Says the Issa Grand Shrine, I believe.
Truly. Maybe you could try to keep me apprised of things like this in the future, Cersei.
It appears I wasn't as stealthy as I thought. My apologies for the indiscretion. But you see, the two of you piqued my interest. Foreigners in Issei Bay searching for mermaids.
You overheard everything? How embarrassing.
Avery, hollering won't lessen the embarrassment.
But how rude of me. I ought to introduce myself.
Huh?
I'm an event planner here in Ise City. My name is Kipe Ikoma.
Ooh, a fancy business card and everything. What a charming fellow. Let's see. Sala Planning, eh? And it says you're the CEO?
I'm actually the only employee, so the title doesn't mean much.
I see. I apologize for the rudeness, but I actually just ran out of business cards of my own.
Did you ever have any?
I had heard you need to carry business cards in Japan if you want to avoid looking suspicious, but I still forgot to bring any. But the freewheeling and forgetful man before you goes by the name of Arnave Barnum, a fantasy author who's merely passing through. Do you believe me? Or am I too suspicious? Without a business card for proof, the fact is yours alone to make.
So you're an author, Mr. Barnum?
Please, call me Avi. This is Cersei. She has studied more Japanese history than even the average Japanese citizen.
It's a pleasure. If you'd like, I can list the top 100 Issei's best features at any time.
Aren't you a delight? I was right to take an interest in the two of you. Event Services Co. CEO, Kipe Ikoma.
This guy has got a bit of a slimy face, doesn't he? Director of Sala Planning, a venture company primarily focused on planning and producing tourism promotion events in Ise City. He's 26 years old. An ambitious young man, Kipe is both highly driven and extraordinarily tenacious when it comes to fulfilling his goals. He's currently planning a PR project themed on mermaids, the sightseeing attraction. About 6 years ago, with the support of a wealthy tycoon, Yoshiatsu Yamashina, that's the old man, right? Yep. Kipe moved to Ise from the countryside with nothing but the clothes on his back and an eye to making his fortune. This aggressiveness won him Yamashina's favor, and after several years spent building up experience as assistant, the tycoon granted Kipe an investment with which he started his current company. Although Yamashina could be said to be particularly strict with him, this is a reflection of the high expectations he has for his future. Oh, is this maybe the guy that expects to be his protege? Kipe is often told that he looks old for his age, but as this means he is not taken lightly when doing business, he sees it as an advantage. He does. I'm like, he's 26. Are you serious?
Forgive my bluntness, but would you mind sparing me a few moments? I'd love to talk a little longer.
I suppose that could be arranged.
Oh, we hadn't looked this way before.
Gust of wind grazed this lovely observation deck. I thought she was totally absorbed in our sightseeing, yet she noticed we were being tailed. Impressive, I do say so myself. What do you think, Cersei?
Feels like a scammer who targets foreign tourists.
Quite the blunt one, aren't you, young lady?
You're probably not wrong. So, this young man is actually a CEO. I'm not sure if I'd call him young. His gaze has a piercing quality to it. There's something off about his smile. Everything about him feels older than he looks. I believe those oversized suits, known as soft suits, are currently quite popular in Japan. Perhaps he's trying to be taken seriously as a CEO. He certainly is putting a lot of effort into his appearance.
The truth is, I'm currently planning a promotional tourism campaign for the Ise-Shima region. I was thinking of using mermaid legends as the centerpiece of the campaign.
Mermaids, huh?
I'm sure you are already quite aware of the mermaid legends of Ise Bay, yes? I thought we could hold events and exhibitions centered around such legends to attract tourists.
I see. So that's why you're interested in mermaids.
Additionally, the Ise-Shima region is also famous for its pearls. I believe mermaids and pearls naturally complement one another.
True, there's also the famous legend that a mermaid's tears turn into pearls when they are washed away by the ocean.
Oh, such a story would do wonders for driving tourism to the area. Does this project mean you are knowledgeable about mermaids in Ise then, Mr. Ikoma?
I suppose it does. I know a fair bit. For example, there are some mermaid legends that most people have never heard of.
Oh, do share.
A long time ago, there was an island south of Kamishima known as Taishima. Have you heard of it?
I'm afraid I haven't.
It rings a bell. It was also called Teishima by some.
That's absolutely right. It's said that once upon a time, 3 mermaids lived on Taishima.
It's funny. I think this is the story that he told Yuza later, I believe.
Wow, 3 of them? Tell me, were they human mermaids or fish mermaids?
Human mermaids? Well, I suppose their upper bodies were human, so I suppose you could describe them as such.
I see. Then that would separate them from the 3 mermaids discovered in Betsuo during the Heian period.
Oh wait, this might be a different one?
Oh, this is the first I've heard of this tale.
However, Taishima sunk about 400 years ago during a natural disaster. The mermaids seem to have vanished after that.
What? That's such a shame.
Regardless, it is said that the 3 mermaids were Sobe, Nagame, and Hayase.
So the mermaids were named too, huh? That definitely adds to the authenticity of the story.
Pardon me, Mr. Ikoma. I never came across such a concrete information. Where did you learn this?
I don't blame you for questioning my sources. I also haven't managed to find any records of this tale. You see, the story was passed down through word of mouth. As it turns out, there was a single man who managed to escape the island's destruction. His descendants have kept the legend alive.
Aha! So it's one of those descendants you heard the story from.
That's right. They live a modest private life these days.
When the story comes straight from a descendant like that, it does lend it some credibility.
Is that the old man? Was that said about him? That he was a descendant of that? Not sure. Nothing really mentioned there.
I would love to inquire deeper about these Taishima mermaids. If you don't mind, could you share the identity of this descendant you speak of?
My apologies, but I'm afraid I cannot oblige. She is not the friendliest sort.
She, okay.
Frankly, even I have trouble getting her to open up. No matter how many times I visit her, I always feel like I'm only getting part of the story.
I see. That's a real shame.
Now, this may not be much consolation, but...
Actually, well, no. The idea is that we were talking about this before, right? Is that, sorry, when there's so much time between these episodes, it's like, I have to like really think back on like all the details. There's so many details to all this. The theory is that Mare, who Yuza's mother, was a descendant of the people that lived over there, right? And that curse, that's why everyone here is freaked out by her, because the people of that town did some dumb shit, right? That brought ruin to their island. So they're afraid that by coming here, she would bring ruin here. So that's the rumor. So maybe it's her.
Now, this may not be much consolation, but I have another interesting rumor from this descendant to share.
Oh, I'm all ears.
It concerns one of the rumored Taishima mermaids. It is said that a few decades ago, one of those mermaids turned human and now lives among us.
No kidding.
She became human?
It does ring a bell, though. Why, that is exactly like the story of the Little Mermaid. What an exciting discovery.
You say this was only a few decades ago. That would makes it quite recent.
I love that movie.
This former mermaid could even be walking among the people here as we speak.
If the story is true, then yes. However, I'll concede that even I find the story hard to believe.
It is a little fantastical.
By the way, may I ask why you're searching for Issei Bay's mermaids, Avi?
No particular reason. I just thought it'd be fun to wander through some sightseeing areas related to the mermaid folklore. That's all.
I see. Well, since you've traveled all the way to Japan to sightsee, I'd love to ask you some questions. Was there anything missing from the areas you visited that you think might have made your trip more enjoyable?
What about those photo spots you put your face in?
I know those. I love them.
Yeah, the things you stick your whole head in and you get a picture.
Really? Are they that interesting?
They're a Japanese tourism classic. It would be nice to see more of them.
Agreed. If I saw one, I would certainly take a photo with it. Oh, and please sell more of those little pendant flags. I can't resist them.
I see. I truly appreciate the input, but perhaps things are fine as they are.
What?
I regret asking you. Should you discover anything new regarding the area's mermaids, please let me know.
Understood. We hope you'll do the same for us. Amazing. A brand new mermaid legend.
The real question is why?
Why?
There's a long history of people making up legends to drive tourism. Such stories linger on, despite their veracity being entirely unverifiable.
I suppose.
Is something the matter?
It's nothing.
It's nothing. Well, it is about time for us to get going.
Yes, of course. Thank you, and I apologize again for taking so much of your time. Actually, since you've come all the way to Japan... If anything happens to you during your vacation here, or you need any other help at all, please feel free to give me a call. I'm quite familiar with all sorts of businesses in the area. For example, I could put you in touch with someone should you be looking to interview Alma divers.
Oh, really? That's very kind. You're not just saying it as a formality, are you? A free-spirited lag like myself will not hesitate to take you up on an offer like this. I will call you.
Please do not hold back. I'll leave you two to your sightseeing. Please have a good time.
Guy was a bit sussy.
If mermaids really did live on Taishima, it's certainly worth investigating. It's Ikoma's business card. He's the CEO of the event planning company we ran to earlier.
This map looks quite old.
Exactly. It also is the precise reason I have come to Mie. To put it simply, this is no ordinary map. This is a mermaid treasure map.
A mermaid treasure map?
Allow me to explain. I found this mermaid treasure map in the family storage. I should explain to Cersei. I worried yesterday that Cersei might struggle to sleep on just a futon in a tatami room like this, but she looks well rested, so I suppose she's used to it. I, on the other hand, was too excited to get much sleep. Like a small child. Talk about the map. I found this map in the old family storage. It was left behind by my great-grandmother.
If she's your great-grandmother, that would make her my great-grandmother's sister. I heard she was exiled from the Lunar Life family because of her eccentricities.
That's correct. She was quite fond of the occult and amassed a number of suspicious curios over her lifetime. As a child, I loved searching through the storehouse that housed her collection. It was like a treasure hunt of wonders. A demon's tail, a yeti's bone, a book of black magic, a pogo's tooth, a piece of a UFO, a crystal skull.
Call Harrison Ford.
I cannot vouch that any of it was authentic, but it was still so exciting to look through. It's no exaggeration when I say that this very storehouse is what led me down the path of becoming a fantasy author.
I suppose that's the kind of formative experience an occult writer needs.
Just so. I have to thank my great-grandmother. She's the reason I can put food on the table. And among the items in that collection was this. Behold!
I see. A mermaid mummy.
Precisely. They were rather prevalent at sideshows and the like all over the world in the 19th century. Mermaid mummies from Japan were quite popular because of their high quality. A number of them even made their way to Europe.
Huh.
This one probably made its way to the family storage around that time. It was probably passed from one seller to another until it ended up in my great-grandmother's hands.
How are you so sure it was made in Japan?
Well, you see, I gave this mummy a thorough investigation. I even took it apart. Sure enough, it was made of wood and paper clay. But lo and behold, I also found this map inside.
Truly? You found the map inside a mummy?
Whoever made it all those years ago must have snuck the map inside. I doubt my great-grandmother had the slightest idea it was even there.
That's an incredible discovery.
It is simply tantalizing, is it not? There's not a doubt in my mind that it will lead to a most thrilling discovery. Hopefully, otherwise I spent all this money coming out here for literally no fucking reason.
So then, why did you call this a mermaid treasure map?
Well, it was hidden inside a mermaid's mummy, so it follows it must be a treasure map of sorts, no?
I see. Your enthusiasm has carried you quite a ways from home. I'm impressed.
Thank you. I have no doubt our treasure lies somewhere in Issei Bay. Doesn't really look like as much of a map, though. It's not like an X marks the spot unless you're kind of that big line there. Or maybe the logo on the bottom right.
What a shame there's no X to mark this spot.
It took the words right out of my mouth, Cersei. Indeed. And this leads us to our first conundrum. Any ideas how to decipher this map, Cersei?
Put me on the spot, why don't you? But it does look like something is written here. Do you know what it says?
Oh, that part. I actually did some research on that. Apparently, it says, search the 95th.
I guess this is that line there.
Search the 95th. That sure makes it sound like it leads to a secret location of some sort.
Yes, and it must be related to mermaids. Aren't you just itching to find it?
You know it. You know it, girl.
I knew it. I'm counting on you to help me solve the map's riddle. Oh, wait. I just remembered. You said you can douse, no? Can't you just douse for the treasure? Then we can skip this whole map and riddle business altogether.
I apologize, but that's impossible.
Truly? But why?
Dowsing is usually used to find waterways, veins of ore, and other such things. My dowsing, however, can be used to find people and objects imbued with spiritual power. However, I must be familiar with the spiritual power that I'm looking for.
I see. In other words, you wouldn't be able to find a treasure you've never seen or heard of.
Yes, the distance from which I can detect the source also depends on how strong the spiritual power is.
It's not quite the superpower I thought it was. You've disappointed me, Cersei. Get out of here.
I say we've had enough of a diversion. Let's get back to investigating your map.
Let's take a good look.
Oh?
Ooh. Did you notice something?
It looks like something's written on the other side.
I see. I knew I must have missed something. Are you serious? I did not notice there was a back to this. Am I that fucking stupid? I should carefully hold the edge when I want to look at the other side. It's the constellation. Oh my god.
Take a close look at all the spots at the back of the map.
Oh, those? That's just them as a bunch of stains.
Do you really think that's all they are? Something about those spots feels familiar.
It definitely does.
The phrase search the 95th is written on the map around the location of Issei province. So yeah, it is this. Cersei, do you recognize the symbol on the lower right?
Appears quite similar to Sanskrit. However, I don't recall a character quite like this one. It may be a mark unique to the cartographer, like a signature.
If that's the case, it's irrelevant to our investigation.
I agree, though my opinion will change should we come across the symbols elsewhere.
It's a map of Issei Bay. Judging from its condition, it is quite old.
If I were to guess, I would say it is over 100 years old. No, perhaps even more than 200 years old. Wonder how old it really is. Look closer. Isn't that Taishima?
You're right. It's an island to the south of Kamishima. It's safe to assume that this map was made before Taishima sank then.
That makes it over 400 years old and made during the Sengoku period. Incredible.
Okay, Eureka! Eureka! Inspiration strikes. I figured it out.
It's a bit hard to see what you mean when you're looking at the back of the map. Can you point at the front?
Ah, you make a fair point. No, I'm looking at this thing. Yeah, maybe less inspiration struck than I first assumed. I have to think on this a bit more. Eureka again.
Where's the treasure?
Point the location.
Right here. I have no doubts. It is here. Behold!
Huh? Why there?
Yeah, it felt right.
Hope you don't mind my asking, but would you care to show me a more definite location?
Dang it. Well, maybe less inspiration than I thought.
I figure it's like, in the center here.
Right there.
That's where the mermaid source.
To be frank, I didn't just come here to solve the map's riddle. My real goal is to find an actual mermaid.
Oh yes, I had a feeling that was it.
So you already knew. Exorcists sure have some keen instincts.
What will you do if you find a mermaid? Do you want to become immortal?
I suppose. Might as well, considering all the trouble finding one will be.
Your reasoning is unexpectedly uninspired.
Simple though it may be, I find the idea quite romantic, akin to ascending to a new stage of humanity.
Sure, I guess.
I take it you disagree with my thinking, Cersei.
I fail to see why my opinion should matter here. What you do is your decision to make. Though I am not certain that an immortal can still be called human. Still, your decision is irrelevant to my duty, so I will not try to interfere. Actually, meeting an immortal will be a rare, once-in-a-lifetime chance. Please translate humanity and let me examine you.
I'd prefer if you didn't speak of me like a research specimen, but I'll overlook it for now.
Though I do wonder if immortality would actually bring you any happiness. When you look at old folk tales, it tends to be less of a blessing and more of a curse.
Geez, don't say that after I already made up my mind and everything.
Well, I'm sure you'll be alright. If you tire of immortality, you need only embark on a journey like a modern-day Yabikuni.
That is one way to look at it, though I think the nun part might be an issue. But I shouldn't get too far ahead of myself. There's no mortality to be had till I find a mermaid flesh to bite into. So let's start there.
Is it really just that simple, or is there, I feel like there's probably more to it than that.
Understood. I'm also quite interested in finding a mermaid myself. Searching just for mermaid meat alone seems like a waste.
Agreed. The best way to go about this would be to find a living human mermaid. And I have no doubt that this map will lead us to a place that's related to mermaids and immortality.
This is quite exciting.
Now this is what I call a true adventure. No matter the era, there's nothing better than a quest for the unknown.
I believe I've noticed something about the map. Would you like me to share my discovery?
You have? No! Nah, I will solve this through my own grit, or so help me God.
I understand. Keep it up.
Oh, I see. She's the hit system.
Look, I believe I've already figured it out.
So, like, I get that that this thing on the back is literally the fucking... It's the summer triangle. So, the thing is, what do I use... How do I use this to find what I'm actually looking for?
Eureka! Sorry, figure it out.
Where's the treasure?
It's right here. No, it's here. Behold!
Maybe to figure out it out as it is now, unless you find a way to shine some light on the riddle.
Oh, did I get it right?
Oh, what makes you say so?
Why, simple. This very spot marks the answer to our riddle.
Enter the name of the location. Okay. So, I was like, I just ended up picking points that were marked on the other side in the triangle shape. So, summer triangle. So this was Altair or Hiko Boshi.
This very spot marks The answer to our riddle, Altair. Allow me to explain. You see, the 95th in the riddle must refer to the 95th tale in the Tales of Issei. And the title of that tale is none other than Ikaboshi. Oh, okay. To be honest, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get that part. I didn't get that part. I kind of slipped my mind about the I was so focused on the thing on the back that I kind of slipped my mind about the 95 part. I was just looking at it, I was like, so I just tried each of the points of the triangle until I got it. Next, another summer triangle constellation is drawn on the back. The location of Hikaboshi, or Altair, corresponds to this very spot on the map.
Incredible. I should have expected nothing less. You are truly a genius, Harvey.
Nothing compares to the rush of a breakthrough. Let's keep riding this high.
You are somehow able to deduce the location without using any light. What incredible instinct.
Oh, could I have turned the lights off or something?
Huh? Wait, I could have seen where the star was if I shined a light through the map.
First, are you able to find it with such little information?
Really? Wait. Oh, could I have turned the light off in the room or something? Wait.
Where the treasure lies. If I can investigate, I should have come.
Oh. I could have used it against the window here or something? I guess? Like lift it up and turn towards the window?
I can't lift it up anymore, so I don't know.
All I did was look directly, like when I turned it over, flipped it and saw where, like, all right, this seems to be approximately where it was. It was on this side. Wow, okay. That's actually cool. I like that she remarked that too.
Yeah, like he was like, wait a minute, you're right. I could have done that. Probably my life a lot easier.
Even if we were to search the area on the map, it's in the middle of the sea. How are we supposed to search a place like that? Looking for an unknown object somewhere on a large swath of seafloor seems like an impossible task.
You're right. That does sound difficult. We might have to ask our friendly CEO for help.
He did give us his card. However, wouldn't that mean we'd have to inform him of the map?
No other way about it. In addition, should we find anything, I imagine he'll expect a share of the spoils. I really wanted to keep it all to myself. Sharing is the worst.
I understand, but we have no other options.
It's a shame, but I suppose you're right. We should contact him as soon as we can.
Yay! Oh, we're going forward again. I had a feeling. I like that you don't actually know when some of these events are truly taking place, because like, maybe this start over here. Like, oh, okay, so this starts like around this time. And no, man, it's just getting pushed forward more and more and more. This is actually probably the last spot for this, because I think they are going to probably arrive in Kamishima. And because I think this is where, actually, wait, no. Wait, no, where do they run into the girl? Yeah, foreign girl Saga, it is here. I wonder if we'll see that encounter from her perspective, you know? We actually probably will.
But where's my Spurt show up? Oh, shit. Best bros. Mad bad blood, though, between him and that thing. Down here in my leader, the Titanic dealing crew rebels roost. Look at this motherfucker. Look at this fucking bird.
I like this is the goofy fucking lore behind this.
All this shit. God damn it. These fucking birds.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna have to save finding that treasure for next time. Hoo-wee! That episode was full of just exposition of all of these tales. Like, holy crap. I didn't really want to just end it here because it was like, we literally didn't do anything. All we did was talk about the environment. So I'm glad I continued because then we at least moved the plot forward a little bit and figured out some new information about where we're going. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is all just like throwing shit out there, but you don't know what is actually relevant, you know, or when it will be relevant. So it's a little bit like, it's just kind of like innocuous, like vague tales that you're just like, all right, well, I'm sure this will be important at some point later on, I guess. That was definitely the most intense of that I think we've gotten in this game. But I do like these two characters quite a bit, so I don't mind too much. At least they are very endearing. But anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoy this episode. If you did, please leave a like and a favorite and subscribe and already become a picky penguin aboard the SLP, where the days are always sunny and the vids are always funny. And as always, guys, till next time, stay classy.